Hello, friends. Welcome to the ATC Double Cut. My name is Michael Woods. In this episode, we are going to go back in time to another one of the posts from before I started this podcast. And it's one of those posts that has some of the most views for those old posts, but it's one that we haven't recorded a podcast about, or we haven't discussed it yet here on the ATC Double Cut show. The title of this post is, If the Greens Are Too Hard, How to Make Them Soft. And the opposite of that, of course, would be, if the greens are too soft, how do you make them hard? Because the things that you do to deliberately make the greens soft naturally are the opposite of the things that you would do to make the greens harder or firmer. And as usual, I will put a direct link to this post in the show notes so that you can check it out. I also, in this post, include a link to that amazing video from Dan Donnelly from years ago where he demonstrated the way that a ball bounces when you throw a ball down onto the ground on a soil surface. Of course, there's grass over it, but it's a surface that has been top dressed with compost. And then adjacent to that is an area that has been top dressed with sand. And one of his staff throws the ball down with violence, and the ball bounces up quite differently on the soil compared to how it does on the sand. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, I started off this post by quoting a question that arrived by email. I said, this question arrived recently to my inbox. I paraphrase, quote, "Sir, my greens are hard. The ball bounces and goes beyond the hole. Please give me recommendations on the steps taken to keep greens soft. I have done vertidrain with solid tines, but the effect is temporary. Please send suggestions." I noted that I've thought about this for a lot of climates, grasses, and soils, and I'm pretty sure that what I recommended or what I wrote in the blog post is a good way to handle this situation. Now, first of all, vertidrain with solid tines is definitely going to make the surfaces softer, and yes, the effect is temporary, but it's going to last, I would think, for a few weeks at least. So you can just repeatedly do that, but if you have to repeatedly do it, it's not really a long-term solution. So what is a longer-term solution to making greens softer? And if I remember right, this was a question that came from Pakistan, and maybe the greens would be soil-based. So if you have a soil-based green and not so much organic matter near the surface, when those surfaces get a little bit dry, they could be more like a cricket wicket where you could have some pretty intense bounce. And that would be where you'd hit a shot in and the ball would not stop near the hole. It would go beyond the hole for most of the players. And that's why my correspondent was asking how to make the green softer. Well, here's how I answered. I said, to make the green softer, the idea is to make gradual increases in organic matter near the soil surface until the desired surface hardness is achieved. So by that, I mean increase the mat layer, increase the organic matter percentage in the mat layer, and increase the depth of the mat layer. So if you do that, the surfaces will be softer. To accomplish this, I want to grow more grass. That's what I wrote. And I said, I also want to remove less organic matter because we want to increase the organic matter percentage of the mat layer. The specific things to do are to make the grass grow more, and you can make the grass grow more by two specific things that a greenkeeper can control, which is adding more nitrogen and adding more water. Both of those will cause the grass to grow more. And I suggested 20% increments of increase. I think that's reasonable as a starting point. So if your nitrogen rate, for example, is 0.0, let's do kilograms per hectare. If your nitrogen rate is 5 kilograms per hectare per application, and you apply 5 kilograms per hectare, that would be a tenth of a pound. Yeah, about a tenth of a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So if that's your typical rate, then I'm saying to increase the rate, I recommend increasing it in 20% increments. So you'd increase that to 6 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. That's increased it by 20%. So now every time you fertilize, you're putting out 20% more nitrogen, or put out 0.12 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000. I like to use 20% increments for this reason. I often recommend, like if you're not getting enough growth regulation and you're using a growth regulator and you wonder, well, what rate should I use? Increase it in 20% increments. Increase or like add less water in 20% increments. Add more nitrogen in 20% increments. And the reason why I use this 20% number is because I think that 20% is a number that it's large enough that we're likely to see an effect. If we only adjust something by 10% or 5%, I often wonder whether, with all the other things that can change in nature, with the weather, with the traffic, with the seasons, with the natural things that vary, I often think that a 5 or 10% change, we may not be able to see the effect of what we've changed in our nitrogen rate or our water application rate or our growth regulator rate. But 20% is still relatively small, but it's a big enough change that I think maybe we can see something. And I definitely don't want to say, double your nitrogen rate. That would be a 100% change. And even 100, to take it to a 50% change, to go from go from a tenth of a pound to 0.15 pounds, or go from 5 kilograms per hectare to 7.5 kilograms per hectare is a nitrogen rate. I think that might be a little bit too much. Now we'd quickly be growing too much grass. So I often recommend that 20% value for change, and maybe you can try that too if you're trying to make adjustments. I think 20% increments of increase are reasonable as a starting point, and one can evaluate the turfgrass response and make further adjustments. If you're not getting the desired effect with a 20% change, then change it again. But make changes in 20% increments. That's my general recommendation. If you do 10% increments, that often is going to be so little that you don't get the change that you're looking for fast enough. Also, I wrote in this blog post, I said I would do less verticutting, I would apply less sand top dressing, and I would do less core aerification. Again, I think 20% increments are a reasonable first guess of how much to change things. If you do this for a while, I expect the surfaces will become softer. So if we did all of those things, we could add 20% more nitrogen, 20% more water. That's definitely going to make the grass grow more. We could verticut 20% less. That's going to leave more grass above ground, which may cushion the ball reaction as it hits the green. We're going to reduce sand top dressing by 20%, and we're going to do 20% less core aerification. And I'm assuming with core aerification that we're going to be filling those holes with sand. So we're going to be putting 20% less sand into the root zone. And I think that all of those things together, if you do 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, that adds up to a system of maintenance that is going to produce softer greens. And that's more of a long-term solution, because if you do 20%, make 20% changes in all of those areas, you're gonna move the greens in a softer direction. And as long as you continue your maintenance plan in that way, the greens will continue to be softer for quite a while. And of course, the opposite of that is what you do to make greens harder. So I naturally mentioned that. I said to make greens harder, you do the opposite of the above. One wants to decrease the organic matter near the surface. And to do that, you want the grass to grow less. And I want to remove or dilute more of the organic matter. So it increase the amount of sand or soil that's present and less organic matter. I said I would apply less sand and water. That will make the grass grow less. I would add more sand and do more coring. By doing more coring, that I'm assuming that we're going to be filling those holes with sand. So we're putting more sand into the root zone. That will remove organic matter. The coring itself doesn't really change the organic matter percentage, but by pulling the core and filling it with sand and simultaneously reducing our nitrogen rate and reducing the amount of water that's supplied, we're going to reduce the production rate of organic material also. So I ended that by saying if I had no other idea about how we would change the rates, I would change all of those by 20% as a starting point. So to make greens harder, I'm saying put 20% more sand, 20% less nitrogen, 20% less water, and 20% more coring, assuming that we're filling those holes with sand. And then I said an exception, and as I read this now in 2025, I'm not really sure how this is exactly an exception, because it still kind of holds true. If we want to make a soil surface softer, we also want to add more water. Oh, I see. I read it. Okay. All right. Everybody listening to this, I put a link to the video from Dan Dinelli. The title of the video is Ball Bounce Study on Fairways. I'm going to put a direct link to this in the show notes. You've probably seen this before because I consider it a famous video, and it's one that is well worth watching because it probably surprises some people. Because above, where the exception comes in is because I've recommended putting 20% more sand in an effort to make the greens firmer. And that is true on a sand root zone. We typically want to reduce the organic matter, increase the amount of sand. That's going to lead to a firmer surface. In a soil root zone, that's not necessarily the case. Adding sand can actually make it softer. And if you watch the video, which I encourage everybody to do, it's a short video, only a couple. It's a 2-minute video in duration. So in the video, the ball bounces a lot more off of the fairway that's top dressed with compost. So we'll call that a soil fairway. It bounces a lot more on the soil fairway than it does on the fairway area that's been top dressed with sand, which we would call a sand fairway. So anyway, the way that the exception works is what I wrote here. I said, what I've written above applies to sand root zones. For turf growing on soil root zones, the expected outcome is a bit different. See this video from Dan Dinelli, which I put a link to. When growing on soil, I expect the surfaces to be harder than if on sand, assuming that we're able to let the soil get dry. So if you have turf growing in relatively dry soil, and if you want to make the surface softer, I suggest adding more water and actually adding more sand. Because if you add more sand, that sand is going to act like a little bit of a cushion, and sand itself is not quite as firm of a surface as soil is. So that all makes sense because soil can compact more than sand, and soil. Soil when it's wet is going to be, usually it's going to be a little bit softer than sand, but soil when it's dry, and so you can still have green grass across the surface, but it's just the soil's not at field capacity. The soil is dried down to a normal water content. And in that kind of situation, the soil is going to be firmer. So if you have a soil-based green in Pakistan or a soil-based green anywhere and you want to make it softer, you can accomplish that by adding sand. And it may make it softer in the dry times of the year, but it will have the advantage in the wet times of the year. It may allow the surfaces to maintain a little bit of firmness. So that is an interesting one. And I hope that you enjoy learning about that and hearing those comments from a blog post that was originally written many years ago. And it's something that I now record an ATC double cut about. Do check out the link, especially if you haven't seen that video. Check out the show notes, and you can either see that video at the original post, or I'll put a direct link to that video on YouTube where you can see Dan's video. That's one of my favorites, and it's quite thought-provoking if you have the idea that sand-based surfaces are always going to be firmer than soil-based surfaces. I will sign off now, but I do expect to be back again soon with more interesting turfgrass information. For ATC from Trong, Thailand, I'm Michael Woods. Bye-bye.